Chris, hello. Happy Friday to you.
Hey, happy Friday, brother.
Happy Friday. I'm excited to listen to this one. So to clarify confusion, obviously all of our viewers are listening to the recap here on Monday, but it's Friday though, and today we are releasing the episode with Brian Zimmerman, CEO of the Metro Parks, and much, much more. I mean, not just the Metro Parks, but a lot of stuff.
Mr. Cleveland.
Mr. Cleveland is right.
You know?
Yeah, adopted. I feel like Cleveland adopted him.
Yeah, it had to. Yeah, absolutely.
You know? And he just like totally bought into the family and everything.
It's cool that too because he's got a really big history with wrestling, and Northeast Ohio is just like a breeding ground for wrestlers. You know what I mean?
I feel like the Midwest is overall
for wrestling. Yeah, I mean,
you have Ohio, PA is always strong, and obviously I didn't grow up a massive wrestler. I enjoyed the sport from a spectator perspective. I did up until I was like in third grade, but I mean, like my dad wrestled growing up. My cousin, went to Notre Dame and wrestled and stuff like that. So I always appreciated the sport, but I always felt like in Northeast Ohio it was you have Ohio, PA.
It's crazy. It's really Ohio and Pennsylvania that are, and it's starting to become New Jersey. New Jersey's
really
been pretty big with wrestling. California only really because it's the sheer size of the state.
Okay,
has a lot of good wrestling, but overall, like Northeast Ohio, and then it's like Western Pennsylvania has like the best wrestling in the country.
Illinois, anything? No,
there's some good wrestling in Illinois and Indiana. Michigan's not too bad. Honestly, a lot of just the Rust Belt states, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what were your overall thoughts about Brian, his story, and everything he had to say?
So Chris, remind our viewers again who it is we are and what we do.
Hey guys, both Dominic and I are loan officers here at Liberty Home Mortgage. So if you or anyone you know is looking to purchase or refinance a home, please email us at the elevateclepodcast@gmail.com. Subject line, looking to purchase or refinance a home. Email's in the description. I mean, it's just funny how, like, he's just, I don't know, he's just like a funny guy, He
whoop, 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 whoop.
Yeah, I know, right? But I love how involved he is with the city. I love how, like, his plans for the Metro Parks and the zoo. I'm excited to see what happens to the Cleveland Zoo in the next 5-10 years, and they have the next decade project coming up. So it's just a very different podcast that we've had to previous ones.
Yeah. It was awesome. I went home and told Nina we have to go to the zoo this summer now.
I know. I want to go to the... Dude.
Go. We should go.
Yeah, dude, we should.
You, Nina, Samantha.
Should we hit them up for some free tickets, though?
Well, if you're, I'm pretty sure if you're a resident of Cuyahoga County, you get in for free on certain days, like on Monday.
Really?
I'm almost positive they have something like that. I don't know. Do you know anything about that? No? I'm almost positive on Mondays, if you're a resident of Cuyahoga County, you get in for free.
It sounds familiar.
I think
right? That's the thing. I just don't know.
Okay. I'm almost positive it's something like that. But either way, we can go. We can afford the $10 ticket.
Yeah.
I was very intrigued to hear how much he's involved, or obviously, he's the CEO of a business. Like, you think like, oh, he's overseeing the Metro Parks, he's overseeing these golf courses, this and that. But he himself is overseeing a business that encapsulates all of that. Yeah. And now he can use funds.
The decision maker. Yeah.
He can use funds to reinvest back into assets that are thus going to generate more revenue. Like they have parking lots,
restaurants,
buildings, restaurants. I think that's amazing. I don't know. I mean, it makes sense, but I never knew that like the Metro Parks, the whole business of that, and
very diversified,
was diversified like that.
Yeah,
it was super cool.
Yeah, and I love just anyone who's from this area can really appreciate the Metro Parks just because it's, I don't know, like if you're a resident in this area, you're never not in the Metro at one point in time, unless you're like very reclusive, I guess. But nonetheless, the amount of things that you're able to do out in nature, just be able to like walk, hike, jog, bike, just do whatever you want. It's a good feeling being able to have like such a world-class park just in our backyard,
Yeah, I agree. It makes me want to get out there, like especially this spring, this summer, and make sure that I do that a little bit more too, just to go appreciate them, because I see his passion in what it is he does, and what he oversees and everything like that, and how he talks about the Metro Parks. And it's funny how he knows like where every one of them are at, and it's like, and I've gone and explored them, but I want to go out there now and explore them even more.
Yeah,
really be like, damn, like dude, this really is in our backyard. It's cool.
Yeah,
it is cool.
I think overall, I just love the city. Like
Yeah.
the city of Cleveland, like
Oh,
even
yeah.
even more so.
Yeah.
Having him come as an outsider into Cleveland, he's just like, why do people have stickers like stuck in Ohio? Like, get out then.
Dude, you're driving in the car that's on. Just drive it past the border.
Yeah, I know. And he's just hearing his perspective on this, and he's traveled to many different countries and many different cities and everything, and he loves this city, right? And why not? We have so many awesome things to offer to our citizens as well as to any tourists that come here. So I think it's really cool, and I really hate it when people are like, oh yeah, I'm stuck in Cleveland, or Cleveland sucks, and blah blah blah. I'm like, dude, if you gave a little bit more appreciation to the city, you'd really see just how diversified we are culturally and how amazing the actual city is. Like location wise, we have so much stuff to offer. You know what I mean?
The same people that say they're stuck in Cleveland are the same people that would end up moving to another state in 5 years say the same exact thing.
Yeah. Oh, it's too hot in
within
Texas.
You, of like, that's right. That's you finding something to be offended by, or you finding a reason to not enjoy something. Because you have that within you to where you got to nitpick certain things that you're not agreeing with or don't make sense to you. That you're always fine. It's like the 80-20 rule. Like if, in your partner, if 80% is right, but you focus on the 20% that's like, I wish I could change that. Let me go to the next person to try to find that. You're always going to find a 20% deficency. I learned that like this preacher, Joel Osteen. I watched a video on him years ago and talked about that. And I was like, that makes a lot of sense. You could apply that to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Kind of like the grass isn't always greener. It's like you're going to find the same deficiencies show up in different things that are masked in different things as you go on,
Yeah, absolutely.
So...
Cool,
man. Hey, I got to give you my scenario question.
Sure.
I got to jog your brain. And again, don't get tripped up like last week where you thought I was trying to ask you a grammatical thing. I'm just asking your opinion. I'm just trying to make conversation. Your 18-year-old son comes to you and says, "Dad, if by 25 I just make this, then like I'll have done it. Then I'll have made it. This is like that's the goal. By 25, I can get this done. I want to do in this career. I want to follow what you do, and I want to make it." What is your advice to him in that regard? What are you going to stop him and slow him down and help him better understand? What are you going to teach there?
Just take it day by day. You don't have to get too ahead of yourself. Just slow down, appreciate life and everything. And I think I've learned over the years that like, yeah, I have like big goals, ambitions and stuff to achieve, but you don't want to, it's like, I'm going to be happy when I get to that point. Like, oh, when I get to that point, I'll be happy. But then you get to that point, and then it's like, all right, well, I've made it. Now I'm going to be happy when I get to another point. It's like, it's okay to have that ambition and to be able to have those goals, I think. And this is me personally speaking, just like for myself.
That's what I want.
But it's also like, learn to appreciate where you're at in life at this moment, too.
Like the journey. Appreciate the journey.
Yeah.
The steps you're taking on that journey, too.
Exactly. Yeah, like, hey, you have a goal to be a national championship. Like, I want my, they could do whatever they want. I don't really care, like whatever they want to do.
But if they were a wrestler,
but if they were, let's say, in a perfect world, they say, "Hey, Dad, I really want to be a national champ." I'd say that's an awesome goal. Like that's perfect. That's a great goal to have. You should want to do that. But let's focus on the workout. Let's have the best workout you could do.
It starts here.
Yeah, let's have a national championship workout today, and then tomorrow. When we go to wrestle on Friday and the lights are on, we'll wrestle like a national championship. But it's just a match. That's all it is. It's just one more match. It's just one more step in this journey. So that's what I would say. I just say just appreciate everything that you can.
I like
what
it.
about you if I asked you the same question?
I would advise him. I would, I think there's a way, obviously, you don't want to tear down what it is he's at. So I would just dive a little bit deeper, I think. Gather a little bit more intel. What is this specific goal that you have? What do you believe the attainment of this goal is going to do for you? After that, let's paint the picture, right? You're 18 now at 25. Let's paint that picture. 7 years down the road, you've accomplished that goal. What does that look like now? What is it? And then from there, almost help him to realize like, hey, and then like go into the lesson point of, hey, you're always going to have these destinations that when you think you reach them, it's going to provide something for you that you think is going to be like the end all be all, but then all you're going to do is it's like the new car smell. It'll eventually wear off.
Yep.
And then you're going to set a new goal that you believe that you have to then go attain, and you're going to be chasing the cheese on the rat wheel. And you may catch it sometimes, but then a new cheese is put up on that string, and you're just constantly chasing it. You're never actually attaining anything or getting anywhere running in the same spot. So I would tell him to slow down, enjoy the journey of it more, the lessons that come in it. because at the end of the day, the lessons that come in the journey, I think, are much more important than the actual goal attained, because it's what allows you to kind of see your gradual growth in life as well, and to appreciate your life a little bit more and find more fulfillment. So just kind of, one, respecting what it is, he believes his goals are and this and that, but also guiding it on like, hey, that's a never ending rat race. That 25-year-old goal is going to be the same thing you're going to set at 30 then, and you're going to be constantly chasing, which is a good thing to set markers for yourself, right? Matthew McConaughey talks about chasing your hero 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road.
And never catching him.
Which is good, but then also slowing down and enjoying the journey part of it. It's not about the destination. It's all about the journey.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like, you only live one lifetime, right?
Sure.
You can't.
We know or understand.
Okay, in the physical world,
I'm
in the physical world, right? So there's no like set plan that anyone can say, like, because there's so much advice out there and so many people have so many different perspectives on life. It's like, I almost don't even want to get tripped up on how much advice there is out there. You got to do what works for you, because no one knows like, hey, there's a set plan, but that set plan for you, it's not necessarily going to work for everybody in the time frame that you live in.
That's right.
You could have great advice today, but would that have really worked 40 years ago?
Sure. And
40 years ago, that could have been very, good advice then, but is it applicable now?
Right.
So I also think there's just so much advice out there. It's like, you have to pick and choose like what really resonates with you.
But I think there's a big thing in what you said though. Choose.
Yeah.
Pick and then choose and then stick to it. It's like the people that all of a sudden read that the paleo diet is there. Now they're going to start paleo. And then they read about vegan, so they jump to vegan a month later. Then they jump to the carnivore diet a week later because they realize they can eat all meat and bacon and this and that. Dude, just stick to one thing and give it a year to 3 years consistently and see if that works for you. And if it doesn't, reevaluate.
That's why I always hated, like in the sport of wrestling, when you have certain coaches that would say, oh, that doesn't work. Like, this move doesn't work. Or don't do that, that won't work. Or you should wrestle like this, or wrestle like that. Or, do this or do that. I'm like, in my opinion, dude, anything can work at any given time. There are basics that you need to follow, right? There are basic, hey, I know I'm very lethal if I hit my single leg this side. And that's good. That's a high percentage move, right? But wrestling's always evolving. Just like we are as humans, we're always evolving and always learning new things and relearning things. So there could be tactics and moves out there that were forgotten 10 years ago that are now brought back up. And someone now would be like, oh, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. Well, it was working 10 years ago. Everyone forgot about it. And now I'm doing it. And, now no one knows how to counter it because everyone forgot about it.
That's right.
So I always hated in wrestling when people would say like, oh, that doesn't work. I'm like, dude, anything can work. Like, that's literally right. Anything, if it's applicable for somebody and they're very good at it and they train at it, don't say it doesn't work, because it can. It absolutely will. Not every time. I mean, it's trial and error for
different
sure.
Strokes for different folks, man.
Exactly.
I really do believe in that.
But then I say the same thing to life. Like, when people say, when they give you life advice and everything, like, oh, don't do it that way. That will never work. How do you know? How do you know that won't work?
There's clear-cut examples of things in our industry. I mean, look at Russell Petty's go at business or at mortgages is different than Corey's, which is different than Hesh's. It's all three different things.
But they all work for them.
Super successful.
Yes.
And it all works for them. That's right. So it's finding your thing that works for you, but that's the thing though, is choosing it and then running with it. I think there's a lot to be said about like what Hesh says. Consistent actions, small consistent actions done over a long period of time. That's
exactly. But I think the first part is just trying as many things as possible.
Absolutely.
And then saying like, all right, well, I've tried 100 different things. 90 of them don't work. 10 of them work really well. And 5 of them work really well.
Yep. I agree, man.
So
good stuff. Have a good day, brother.
You too, dude. Hey, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Elevate Cleveland podcast. Dominic, wrap it up for us.
As Chris stated at the beginning of this podcast, we are licensed loan originators for the best mortgage company in the land. That is Liberty Home Mortgage. Guys, if you or anybody you know is looking to purchase or refinance a home, doesn't matter if you've done this 1, 10, or 100 times, call us, email us. The email is in the description below. Reach out to that email. In the subject line, put looking to purchase / refinance a home. Whatever it is your goal is, Chris and I will reach out to you within 24 hours, and we look forward to helping you with whatever it is your specific home goal is. Thank you.